Hi, I'm Tony Northup, and for Chapter 6 of my book, Stunning Digital Photography, which covers portraits, we're in the studio to show you how to take low-key portraits. Low-key just means that the picture overall has really dark tones to it, and today I'm going to show you how to get that completely black background. Now, we're going to start out in the studio because that's the place where it's easiest to get a perfect low-key background. But after we're done here and I show you the fundamentals, we're going to move into the living room and I'll show you how to get it with just a single speed light. So I'll get started and I'll kind of show you what people typically do wrong. I have my lovely bride Chelsea here posing for me, and I'm going to take a quick picture of her. So you can see that it's not a bad picture, but it's not really the effect we're going for. You can see the background really distinctly, and the background kind of looks terrible. And that's because Chelsea's standing really close to the background. So all the light that's hitting Chelsea is also hitting the background. And this is the first key to taking low-key photographs, and that's separating your subject from the background and separating the light from the background. So I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to have Chelsea take a few steps forward away from the background. That's good. Now step back just a little bit. Now I'm going to move this light so it's shining on her but not on the background as much. And now as I move this light around, you can see the modeling light is on. And you can see that it's still lighting up the backdrop, and that's bad. Any place the backdrop is lit up is going to show up in my picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a grid to this light here. So I'll grab that from the back. Grids are just a big plate that goes over your light source and it has lots of holes in it. So I can see through it like this, but if I tilt it a little, it becomes completely solid. That means all the light travels in a straight line, or it doesn't go out at all. It just gets blocked. So I'm just going to fix this over the light source. And as I do this, watch the light cast against the background there, and I think you'll see it change shape. So now you can see that Chelsea is still very distinctly in light, but none of the light is going onto the background. So now I'm completely controlling the light, and this is going to make this low-key picture much more distinct. So I'll take another picture of Chelsea now. So that's much better. We have a nice, clean, black backdrop now, thanks to moving Chelsea away from the backdrop and gridding that main light. However, it's not a perfect picture. I do want to talk about mood as well. Now, the thing about low-key backdrops is it conveys a very serious tone. It can even be a sensual tone, but it's not a happy tone. So one mistake I see in our readers group and at sdpcommunity.com is that people break out the low-key effects and then they'll just have a happy family picture, but on this very black background. And it's like a weird mixed message. You know, if you're going to be taking pictures of happy people, you probably want to be on a nice bright white background. If you are doing the black background thing, go ahead and stick with the mood and have people be serious. So Chelsea, let's take one more picture with you, just a little more morose, a little more serious. So there we go, much more serious expression and overall mood of the picture. Does balance it a little bit better. There's still a problem with this low-key picture in that her hair is completely disappearing into the background, and I can fix that by turning on the hair light. So I have a remote control over it. I'll just turn that on real quick. So you can see, because there's only one line illuminated here, that I just have the one light on. So I'll scroll over to channel 3, which is my hair light, and then go into the light settings. And I'm just going to change it from standby to on. Now with the hair light on, I'll take another picture of Chelsea. So the hair light definitely helps there. You can see the effect of it hitting her back, but it's still a little low. I'd like it a little more distinct, so I'm just going to up the power and take another shot. I'm happy with those results. You might want a little more fill because the shadows are just completely black in this picture, and you could just add another light or you could hold up a reflector, but every additional light you add in, especially if it's pointed towards the backdrop, is going to make keeping that backdrop completely black a little more challenging. So that's how you get it done in ideal circumstances in a studio. Let's go downstairs and we'll see how we can do this in a regular room with ambient light and just a flash. If you don't have a studio, it's really easy to get a black backdrop. Just wait until night and put some distance between your subject and anything else. So I just have the back door open here. Then put a light fairly close to your subject with a flash in it. So I'm just using an off-camera flash here. This is an inexpensive setup. My flash, a Yongnuo YN568EX2, 165 bucks. And these cost 45 bucks each, like 85 bucks for the pair of them that I need. And then I stuck it in this umbrella, which isn't expensive at all, 10 bucks. I'll take a picture of Chelsea. So there you go. I had to tweak the exposure a little bit by adjusting the power output of the flash, but once I got it working, I had a perfect black background, no expense. Just use the dark night sky and umbrella with a softbox in it. And here's a bonus technique for getting low-key portraits outside when you have bright sunlight. And all you need is a flash and high-speed sync. You'll notice that I still have the flash configured off camera using the same approach I did before, but you could put it on camera. The important thing is you'll probably need to use high-speed sync. Before we get started, I'll point out that Chelsea has a styrofoam hat. This is what I use for a stand-in whenever I'm doing portrait work. I raise or lower that light stand to about the height of the person. Might be a hair taller than Chelsea today. And this allows me to test out the lighting and the composition of the picture without bothering the model. So Chelsea, you can get that styrofoam hat out of the way and jump in right where it is. I just used that head to make sure I had everything perfect before bringing her out into this cold. So I'll show you what it looks like when I don't have the flash turned on during the day here in just automatic mode. Now to do this low key to get a black background, I'm going to put my camera into manual mode. When you put your camera into manual mode and you use an external flash, the camera uses the settings that you specify and then attempts to add as much light as it can through the flash to properly expose everything. So it'll determine how much flash you need to expose that foreground subject properly. So I'm going to set my camera to manual mode and then choose settings that will allow it to be completely black despite the fact that the sun is out here. So the first thing I'm going to do is select the highest shutter speed I can, which on this camera is 1/8,000th of a second. I'm also going to choose ISO 100 because ISO 100 is just the best, right? Now I'll select the aperture that I need using the lowest f-stop number possible where I can get a completely black background. So I'll start at f2.8 because this is f-fast f2.8 lens and take a picture with this flash. So at 1/8,000th of a second and f2.8, you can see the background is just about completely black. If you still see a little bit in the background, you can raise your f-stop number up to f4, f5.6, or whatever you need to make the background completely black. The way it works is we're lighting in two different layers. The settings that you put into your camera, your ISO, shutter speed, and aperture, control the amount of ambient light which you get from the sun. So if you use a really fast shutter speed and a low ISO and a low aperture, of course you're going to get a black picture no matter how much light you have. That's great because we want a black background. This flash here has to overpower the entire sun. And as a result, especially if you're using a softbox like this, you have to have your model pretty close to the flash or else you just won't be able to get enough light. You could also use multiple flashes or something more powerful like a strobe. Now with this Yongnuo YN622C set, it automatically put the flash into high-speed sync. If you go above your camera's sync speed, which is usually around 1/200th of a second, you'll have to put that flash into high-speed sync mode. You might have to do it manually if it doesn't do it automatically. If you don't put it into high-speed sync, you won't be able to use a fast shutter speed and therefore you won't be able to cut the ambient light from the sun.